What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Content Corner. This is your boy Herb, and the boy over here is what's your name, boy?
I'm not a boy. My name's Lens, and I am a man.
You're a
Grown
man.
ass man.
Are you?
I was once a man.
What's a man? Oh my god! All right, so this week, what are we talking about? We are talking about two movies that came out last year, and not only did they come out last year, they have the same title and pretty much the same runtime, and they're both foreign films.
Yeah. This came across our radar because of our friend Kevin. He was like, "Hey, no, wait, was it Kevin or was it Elias?"
Elias told us about it initially, you know.
Yeah, he was like, "You guys want to watch this movie called Fury?" And Kevin was like, "Which one?" And he was just like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "There's two movies named Fury." He's like, "Okay, the one spelled Fuire. Sorry,
Yeah. If
R
you
R
are
I
I,
E I
which
E."
one?
And Kevin's like, "Which one?" He's like, "What?" They're both spelled the same way. He's like, "All right, the one that came out in 2019. Which one?" And he's like, "What do you mean, which one?" The foreign film. Which one, my guy?
Oh god. It was, and what's even more wild is that both these movies, like I said, have pretty much the exact same runtime. One of them has an hour 37, the other one's an hour 38.
So he's like, "The one is an hour and a half. You're not helping."
It's like, oh my god, so good, so good. But while in name they're the same, which I want to point out also that like while their titles are spelled the same, when you look for the non-Asian one, when you look for the French one on Netflix, they changed it to Get In. Now, I know everyone's thinking, oh, Get In sounds like Get Out. It's not. It is not.
It's not. It's not. It's different. But I was upset that once again, America, or I don't know if it was Netflix in particular that decided to do this, but it's been a habit that Americans change the name of foreign films once they come over here. I'm like, just keep the name. What's so
Oh,
wrong about
don't
that?
even get me started. Like, oh, here's some famous examples. The Big Boss with Bruce Lee brought it over here. They called it Fists of Fury. All right. Well, now the sequel to Big Boss is actually called Fist of Fury. So what do? Because they can't call it Fist of Fury because they already have Fists of Fury. So they'll call it the Chinese Connection. Like, why?
It's ridiculous. Like,
Or my favorite
figure
that
shit
blew
out.
Lenz's mind the other day. My favorite, the
Oh my
movies
god.
Armor of God and Armor of God 2 Operation Condor. Both are Jackie Chan films. They're his films. However, because America got Armor of God 2, it brought that over first. It decided to just call it Operation Condor just by its subtitle. But then they got the first one over. So like, all right, we'll call that Operation Condor 2 Armor of Gods. So the not only is the name fucked up, but the order's fucked up because Operation Condor 2 is actually the first movie, and Operation Condor is the second movie.
Oh my god. So just oh my ah. It hurts my soul so bad. Just what is wrong with, like, I don't know what type of like contracts or licensing deals or whatever's going on that like prevents people from using the name properly. I don't know what's happening, but just figure it out, okay?
Get your
We're
shit
over it.
together.
Get your shit together. Like I expected this from the 80s. This movie came out last year, 2019. Bro, like, what are you
But
doing?
Lens, they don't want people to get confused with the title with the other Fury movie.
It doesn't, like, it doesn't matter. just just name it correctly, man. Because like in the movie, like if you're watching the movie, the title pops up and it says Fury. So when you're watching it, like if you're actually watching it, you're gonna be confused. You're gonna be like, I thought the name was Get In.
Yeah. Yeah, or my favorite is actually how we went to watch it, and I typed in Fury, and both movies came up. Cool. So I picked the French one because you already seen the Vietnamese film. So like, all right, cool. As we go to start the movie, it says "Get In" on like the Netflix, and we're like, wait, did I pick the wrong movie?
I was like, dude, what's going on? And then the synopsis was exactly what we were expecting. So we were like, again? They're doing this to us again?
Oh man, it's just you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Not really, but anyway, let's get into this jargon of these films. So you want to cover? Let's cover the Vietnamese one first, for
That's what
reason.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I was gonna say.
Let's cover the Vietnamese one
So,
first.
long story short, it is
Taken in
Vietnamese
Vietnam.
taken.
Yeah, it's just taken.
Pretty much.
But instead of a man's daughter being taken, it is a mother's daughter being taken. So now the mother, yo, they keep saying it. They basically keep saying the same thing in the movie, which is just like, yo, just don't touch the cubs when mama bear's around. Honestly,
Word. Just, they're like this guy in the movie makes an analogy. Is like, do you know why hunters don't hunt like baby tigers when the mom's alive? Because the mom will remember that scent and will hunt you down for the rest of your days.
so it's like if you want to hunt a baby cub while the mom's alive, you go ahead, but don't you dare come back into that jungle.
You best leave the country.
Just leave all out. Just gone.
Yeah, so the mom is a what was she? She was a debt collector.
When the movie started, yes,
Yeah, she's a debt collector with a seedy past, um, and
shady.
just trying to raise her child. And because she was a debt collector, she just had beef with a whole bunch of people.
Duh.
So they went after her kid and then like sold her to child traffickers. It's not a great situation.
Well, no,
Um,
they didn't sell it. Just child traffickers just showed up because the people who took her were part of the ring.
oh yeah, I think they went after her just because it's like, well, fuck this bitch.
That was it. Like that's the thing. Like there was a point in the movie where a guy, very early in the movie, a guy's like, "Yo," comes to her house looking for her. They hide in the house as he's banging on the door. He's like, "Hey, I know you're in there. Listen, why'd you have to break my brother's leg just because he owed you money?" And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, "You said you answered your own question." Like,
Like he owed me money. Like that's why his leg's broken. I mean, if he just paid on time, he would be walking right now. But obviously there's a problem.
oh my god! And then like, and I thought they're all right, cool. So we're gonna have to deal with that later. Never dealt with it.
Honestly, yeah.
We never see that guy again.
D- didn't we? I thought he was one of the guys in the market that like was there during the kidnapping.
Not one of the ones that I don't think he was there because she was like talking to that pawn shop lady, and then the daughter was just off. Oh no, was he there? Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I think he was there.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
there was just a bunch of people. Like the whole marketplace turned on her and like tried to fight her.
So someone tried to frame her daughter for like pickpocketing, and then like the and then after like to save face, she like asked her daughter to empty her pockets, and the daughter's like, "No, why don't you believe me?" And daughter runs off. Then her husband comes through and is just like, "Hey, there's my wallet. I dropped it somewhere, and like I think she was trying to give it back to me." And then everyone's like, "Oh," and the wife's like, You're drunk. Let's go home." And then the whole market's like, "Wow, she made us turn on a kid." And I'm like, "What do you mean she made you? Y'all just back that shit up."
Word. And honestly, mom, what are you doing? Why aren't you believing your kid? She felt pressured by like her
Societal
peers.
norms.
They're like, "Oh, you're a bad mother," and then she was like, "No, I'm a good mom. Give back the wallet. Or empty your pockets." And she was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, mom?
I ain't got no
You're
wallet.
supposed to
We
have
ain't
my
got no
back.
money.
You're supposed to have my back here. What are you doing?"
Facts, facts, and it's great. It's crazy. And then like some dudes take her daughter. She starts chasing them, And then the part that is crazy to me is the initial chase. I want to say car chase, but it's not a car chase. It's
It's a
it's a
boat slash moped chase.
yeah. It was interesting to say the least. Like it wasn't. I'm not saying it was bad. It's just like it didn't have anything great.
I so this is like it's Vietnam, so like it's a jungle-ish environment, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they did the best with what they had. So, there was like a chase down the river with a boat, but she didn't have a boat, so she was following the river on the moped, and she was like kind of cutting through like bits of like jungle, through like marketplaces, through like a restaurant. It was weird.
I will say there was a point in time where this whole movie could have been settled because like she on her moped got to a bridge which was over that crosses over the river, and she looked over, and as she looked over, the boat was right under her. She could have easily jumped into the
I was
boat.
like, jump. I was like, jump, do it. And then she didn't. And I was like, then why did you even go on the bridge?
Like, what was the point?
What was the point of that move? Like in every action movie, right? If there's a river and there's a boat going down the river and the person goes up on the bridge above that boat, they jump in on that boat. So
That's
I was
it.
fully expecting that. And then she was just like, "Oh no!" They kept going, like they were gonna stop. And then she was
Yeah,
like, "All
right.
right, back on the moped." I was like,
You could have
"Don't waste
just
the
ended this
time."
whole movie just by because here's the thing. Am I nitpicking for like because it's a movie and of course they're not gonna have her settle it in the first beginning? Sure, but if that's the case, don't include the bridge. Really, just
Word.
don't put that in there. If she's not gonna do
Attention
nothing
to
with the bridge,
attention to detail is an important factor of movies and just storytelling in general. For example, before she got on the moped, she actually got on the boat, right? She actually got on the boat that like they were kidnapping her daughter. Um and she was fighting the guys, and her daughter was like free. Like nobody was holding on to her. At that point, I would have been like, jump. Jump off that boat right now. Like I'm in the river, you're like you'll be in the river, we can like meet up. It's going to be a better
I will
situation.
swim you to shore and we'll be fine.
Word. It's going to be a better situation than like these guys are like have you on the boat tied down or like captured. But, obviously that didn't happen because, the plot
Just
needs to
plot.
keep
Yeah.
going. But,
So they
like I said, attention to detail.
take her away, take her daughter away, and then she manages to like track them down to like a bus stop, and then she sees them on a bus and leaving, and she asks the people, "Yo, where's this going?" And it's like, "Oh, it's going to this city." I forgot what the name of the city was because it wasn't Seoul or like it's not a city, an Asian city that I'm familiar with. It's not like somewhere in Japan, China. I don't know like anything
It's
about
the
Vietnam. So
it's the major city in Vietnam. Whatever that may be. It was that. It
I
was
don't know.
like the biggest city in Vietnam.
And then she manages to like
I'll look it up because I'm curious now.
thank you. And then she manages to like quote unquote hitchhike her way there. I put that in quotes because she asked, and when they told her no, she just jumped in the back of their truck, thinking that they didn't see her anyway.
Was it Hanoi?
I don't think it was not. It was not Hanoi. It starts with an S.
With an S.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I remember that. I almost want to say Saigon, but I don't fucking know. Anyway,
I feel like that's not there.
yeah. Well, whatever. Anyway, um, oh, and if whenever they're talking about money in this movie, if you ever feel like why are they talking about like millions and they look so poor, it's because one of our US dollars is equivalent to over 23,000 of theirs.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot.
Like
It was it
like they
was,
were
it
saying
was
like, "Yo, you owe me 3 million." And I'm like, "What?"
I was like, damn. I was like, what did you do? Did you start three businesses and fail on each of them? Like,
Bro, it was wild. And then it's like, "Oh, no, it's just the exchange rate." Okay, cool. That makes more sense now. Ugh.
Also, Herbert, like I'm not finding the city, man. Like if it's not Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City, it just I don't see any feasible way it's anything
Maybe
else.
it's not
You
in
know,
Vietnam, but it has to. I feel like it is.
they were
Whatever.
in Vietnam.
Right?
Whatever.
I'm
It,
not
it doesn't. It
crazy.
doesn't matter. It doesn't
Uh,
matter.
it doesn't matter right now. Anyway, it's gonna drive me nuts after the video, after this recording.
You're gonna go back, aren't you?
I'm gonna go back and just anyway. So she gets to the city, and that's when we start finding out. Well, not finding out. We get hints, but we find out in more detail what her past was like. She used to be like a thug, a thug.
Yeah, she was a thug.
Yeah. So, and then she left because she didn't want that life, especially because like her. Oh, well, that's confusing.
Oh,
I just found it.
what is
it
it?
is it is Ho Chi Minh City, but it's referred to as Saigon.
That's fair. Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah, that's literally. She's like, "Oh, it returns to Saigon." I'm like, "All right, where's Saigon?" And it's like, "Oh, it's Ho Chi Minh City, but it's commonly referred to as Saigon." And I'm like,
So you were right.
"We were both right.
Good job.
We
Fair
actually
enough.
were both right." Yeah. Anyway, I got it's off my mind now. So, she goes starts doing like detective work, trying to track the people down and everything and stuff like that. Fights some people, gets involved with the police. Police try to tell her, "Yo, chill the fuck out." Because like you're ruining my case. I've been trying to take these people for 3 years, and then she's like, "Yo, if you're such a good cop, why haven't you done it in 3 fucking years, jerk?" And
She
there's this
talks
whole thing.
shit. They talk shit. The movie keeps
Yep.
rolling.
The movie keeps rolling. Eventually, the detective decides to help her. They get on the train because this whole trafficking ring. I want to point out we keep saying trafficking, but it's not sex trafficking. It's child organ trafficking.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
take kids. This is how the system works. Apparently, they take kids. Once they get the kids, they take them to Saigon. From Saigon, they put them on a train that it's been very hard for them to nail down. Once they take them to the train, they have until basically if you want to see your kid again, you have until basically they get on the train. Because once they're on the train, unless you know where the train is going, they're done. And even if they do,
It's a
you got to
wrap.
make sure. And even if you do know where it's going, you got to make sure they don't get them on the trucks because they put different kids in different trucks, and each truck has an operating table inside of it. So once they're on the truck, it's over.
Yeah. It's pretty
And
much a wrap at that point.
so they managed to track down the train. And then while we were watching it, we're like, oh, it's like the number, the number of the train, and it's like we need to go to that train. And then we were discussing, and I'm like, no one remembered. I'm like, it's this number, which I
I
actually don't.
I knew the last like four digits. Like I remember the last four digits, but it was like a 7-digit number with
Yeah,
like
one of them
starting with
being
the
a
letters
letter.
V and C or something like that. It was like
Uh,
three letters in the beginning,
yeah, and then it was like
right?
053171. I think it was. I could be making that
So
up.
something like that. I was just like, I got the last couple, so my kid is dead.
And
Right.
I'm like, I remember mine. I remember numbers, and it's like when they reveal, they're like, "Oh, there's the train." They show the number. I'm like, "Boom, my kid's alive. I got this."
So as we know, Herbert is a plus in taking situations. He has a certain set
Oh,
of skills.
memorizing numbers. Memorizing numbers that I hear one time. But like the best part about watching the movie was watching it with our friend Elias, who's an officer, and yo, he kept telling me, he's like,
He's just
"Yo, all
complaining the
this paperwork,
whole
all
goddamn
this
time.
paperwork, my guy."
It was so funny. He's just like, damn, you broke that pole. That's a whole nother sheet. Car chase? Are you kidding me? I'm never going home. I'm never seeing my kids again.
I asked him like, "Yo, like, how much people were we talking for?" Like, he's like, "Yo." He said he feels bad for whoever the poor suckers that would have gotten with the paperwork for this whole taken situation because their family would have to visit them at work from how much paperwork they would have had to get done.
Jesus.
I was like,
Ridiculous.
yo, but Yeah, so they managed to get on the train. Uh, we know that she's a martial artist, and I think it was. I don't. They never said what style she used, but I feel like it might have been Taekwondo. I could be wrong. Most likely
She's
wrong.
just a fighter.
Yeah,
She
but
knows how to fight.
she has some martial arts training in the style because that's what her father taught her. So like that was the whole
And she's
thing.
pretty good. She kicks ass.
Yeah, except for this one chick who whooped her ass one time,
Yeah, the leader of the child organ trafficking ring.
or at
She
least she was bro. She had the unga bunga strength. Like
she was like the Vietnamese Ronda Rousey. She was like Okoing people.
it was wild. She was eating punches left and right. It's like that's
Yo,
it.
the first fight between the mom, I forgot her name, and Miss Unga Bunga child organ trafficker,
Yeah,
she like she whipped her ass so bad. So
whooped her
mom's
ass
like,
so
all
bad that
right,
she made a
I'm
phone
gonna
call mid fight.
yo mid fight. So mom's like, okay, I'm gonna hit you with this combo. Didn't work. She punched her in the face, put her phone down, started a call, bodied her, finished it, and it said, nothing changes. Keep the plan going. I was like, yo, that's so rude. She was doing business while kicking ass. Like
Beat.
that's some crazy strength.
And then obviously on the train they meet again and they fight, and the mom is getting her ass whooped again. But then she has that Brie Larson, Carol Danvers. Oh, I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna stand up kind of thing moment. Honestly, reminded me of that scene,
Nah,
like straight up.
yeah. Here's the
Because like
thing.
they
Here's
showed her
what
younger
happened.
self too. They showed her as a little girl getting up, and I was like, oh, it's the same scene.
It's the same scene. It's the same exact scene. But here's what happened. This whole movie was really a fighting game in disguise. And the mom is a fighting game character, and she was just building meter the whole fucking movie. All right, the whole movie she was building meter. During the final fight against the leader of the trafficking ring, she spent that cash. She hit EX moves after EX moves
To a
into a
super.
super. It was wild. There was one combo. I was like, "Oh no, oh no, you're getting ass kicked. Oh
Bro,
god."
hit her with that touch of death combo.
It was wild. It was so wild.
And then at the end of the movie. So the way they were doing with the train is that they put the kids in one of the cars. Well, yeah, a couple of the cars, and then what they would do is at a certain point at a switch, as the train passes, they would disconnect the cars, so that the train half would pick up speed. It keeps going, and then they hit the switch, and then the cars with the kids go down a different path. So that while they're on the train, that gets to its destination, all right? And now the mom sees all these kids, and there's a bunch of criminals outside, and she's the only one here because the detective was on the other half fighting other dudes. So he's mobilizing police to try to like find get his way there. This mom pulls a Batman.
I
Like,
have no idea how she did this because for all we know, there was only one entrance into that car, right?
yeah,
Only one. So the big slidey door that you see on those like cargo trains, that was the only way in and out of that car.
but it was wild because like they're like, "Oh, boss, you there, boss?" And obviously the boss is dead, so no one's answering. Dude walks in, and all he hears is a thud, like someone just got taken out. And then they're like, "What?" And then another guy goes in there. It's like, the fuck was that? You hear another thud, and now everyone's on guard, and they're approaching the train. And then as the camera like pans, you see her behind the last guy all the way in the back. I'm like, where did you? How? When did you
Word.
get there?
She disappeared from the car. And I was like, "Wait, hang on. Where's the exit? How did you do this?" There wasn't even like a roof like opening. Nothing. She just disappeared and reappeared behind him. I was like, "Okay, Bruce Wayne."
I'm Batman. It's like
Jeez.
it was just, and then like she fights everyone off except for one guy who manages to get to his gun and shoot her in the shoulder. And then they make it a big thing. It's like, oh man, like, and then the cops show up saving her from the guy who's about to kill her who had the gun, who shot her. But again, she got shot in the shoulder, and it's a visible, very visible shot to the shoulder. Like it's not like a mistake. Oh, maybe hit her in the chest. Nah, it's a shoulder shot, 100%. And then they make it sound like she's like knocked out, and they're like, "Oh, wake up, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Yo, she's not dead. She got shot in the shoulder. Chill the fuck out."
He could have hit an artery.
Nah,
I
nah.
mean, it didn't because she didn't bleed that much, but
Like we saw her hit the ground, and there was like not much blood, if any, coming out of that wound. I'm like, she's fine. It's a wing. It's at that point she got winged. That's it.
I
She'll
agree.
be
Oh,
fine.
also, she's a trooper. She can take a lot of damage because she got stabbed in like the chest, not like the heart side, the other side, a little lower than the shoulder. She got stabbed there with a screwdriver early in the movie, shook it off, and then swung a right hook like it was nothing. Like she just kept fighting the whole movie. I was just like, is that
Bro,
injury not bothering you? No?
girl can
All
take
right.
damage.
Honestly, she's a tank.
She, it's like they said, don't mess with the cuz while mama's around, bro. Just don't do it.
It's a bad idea.
It's a very bad idea.
Overall, Vietnamese Taken wasn't bad. It wasn't like amazing. It just wasn't bad. I think
Yeah,
that combo at the end was like the best part of the movie.
hands down, best part of the movie. Hands
Yeah,
down.
yeah. I would give it personally like a 7 flat,
Sounds about right.
like a flat 7.
Yeah,
It's nothing to write home about, but like I wouldn't mind seeing it.
yeah.
You know,
I give it like a
somebody puts
7.
it on. If
Yeah,
it just
give it.
pops up on like cable, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, I give it a 7.000. So 7.
What was the I my anger?
Speaking of anger, that's a great segue into the next movie, Fury. Or I guess it's French. So it'd
The
be,
other Fury.
yeah, the other Fury. Or I guess it's French. So Furie?
I'm not sure actually.
Anyway, this whole movie, it got me so tight in the first 10 minutes.
Yo, the premise got me the premise
So here's
got
the
me so
premise.
upset.
So first off, this movie is based on a true story. Now, I want to emphasize based because so the setup for the movie and like the premise and everything that happened and actually has happened in France. How far things go, that's different. That's for the sake of the movie. But as far as like the setup and everything and why things and the main reasons to why everything's happening, that actually happened. And the premise is these people went on a 2 month. This family went on a 2 month long vacation. Okay, they had friends. One of which was the caretaker for their like basically their son's nanny,
Yeah,
and
the nanny.
the nanny and her husband had hit hard times. So this family was like, "Hey, we're going away for 2 months. If you want, you guys can take care of our house, and then to help you guys get back on your feet." All right, cool.
Yeah, you could live there while we're on vacation. Get your affairs in order. Things will be a little easier.
Yeah, because they were homeless, the nanny, and like they had been evicted, so they're like trying to help them out. All right, all right. So that way, at least they don't have to like sleep on the street. So it's nice. They come home from a 2 month long vacation, and what happens? They can't get into their own home because these assholes managed to somehow get like they signed an agreement with the nanny and her husband so that they would be able to pay like the utility bills and stuff while the family was away for 2 months. And because of that, they're considered legal tenants. So they changed the mailbox and like the mail address for that to theirs. They made it so
They
essentially,
changed the gate, like, remote control
yep,
so the family couldn't open the gate because it's like a gated house.
yep. And then like they also what do you call it?
Changed the locks.
They changed the locks, and it was to the point where like the family couldn't get back into their house because they legally could not evict them. So imagine coming home from a 2 month long vacation and your home is no longer your home.
Word. So they pull up to the gate and then it's like, why is it not working? They call the husband and wife. They're like, hey, what's going on? Like they're not picking up their phone. They're not picking up the cell phone. They called the house phone. This is what got me. They called the house phone and the voicemail. They changed the voicemail, the answering machine, to their names. I was like, excuse the fuck out of me? What? Mm, mm. Oh my god, I was just
And we
it was
find
just
out
it
later.
was 2 minutes in. 2 minutes into the movie, I was so mad.
And then we find out 2 minutes. We find out later in the movie that like the husband of the family has a pet bird. And I mentioned to Lens, I'm like, yo, and they wouldn't let him have his bird. It's like, nah, it's not your bird. It's our bird because it's in our house. And then I told Lens, I'm like, yo, imagine if like instead of a bird, this was your house and you had your dog, and then they locked you out of your house so you couldn't get your dog either.
Oh my god. Oh, like I was fuming. I was fuming the whole time. I was like, yo, I would have went to jail. Cuz the first night that they pulled up, tried to get back into their own home, they called the cops on them. I would have fought the cops. I would have fought these people. I would have died that night.
Oh my god, Lens, we would not have a Lens right now if this was his situation.
Or
If
I
he
would
was
have
in
got
that
shot by the
situation.
cops. I would have straight up got shot. Dude, I'm like, sir, calm down. I ain't gonna fucking calm down. They're in my goddamn house. Oh,
It's crazy, man. It's just wild. And then like the rest of the movie is just literally this. Just yo, you dealing with your shit. Oh, and then like eventually they get to a lawyer. The lawyer tells them, yo, 5 days, I'll get you your house back. 5 days.
5 days. I got you.
And you know what? I was like, all right, 5 days. First of all, I want to be in my house now, but you know what? If legally I can get them out and just be in my house in 5 days, no, 1, 2, 3, fine. I'll go stay somewhere or whatever, right? Um, that being said, the 5 days come and go, and then the judge essentially rules so that like they can or whatever, and then so there was like I didn't know he'd be like this zealous or whatever, so like we're gonna have to go higher. So I don't know how long this is gonna take.
Yeah, the judge was like, I mean, this is kind of ambiguous. You know, it looks like you're renting out your place to these people. Uh, I don't know. It just, it's not for me to say. What do you mean it's not for you to say? You're a goddamn judge. Oh, Christ. This is a good movie. I know I'm like upset, but it is a good movie.
It was really good. The camera work is phenomenal.
Oh yeah. The cinematography. I was like, why is this so good? Why is this so dramatic right now?
Yo, the music choice.
The music choice was fire. The acting was good. It was like just amazing. Like an amazing movie.
Yo,
It's just
oh,
the
and
premise
then
just got me tight.
this one kid in the movie got me tight. So the main, the husband's a professor, right? And they're
History
talking
teacher.
about history teacher. And I thought it was it's at a college, isn't it? Or is it high school?
Mm, I'm not sure. I think it was a high school. It felt like high
It's
school.
at least a high school based on the age of his students. So he's teaching this lecture, and then about like how people like were getting tired of like fighting for survival. So that's why we came up with like the law and had society deal with like if someone's trying to steal your shit and whatever.
Yeah, basically John Locke's natural laws, just
That.
like the natural rights.
So that being said, out of nowhere, like he asked this kid like, oh, like his kid was talking to some chick. He's like, hey, you want to share with the class? He's like, you promise you won't kick me out? And he's just like, we're listening. I want to point out that that's what he said. We're listening, okay? After he asked if he wouldn't kick him out. The kid says, well, honestly, if your stuff gets stolen, that's on you because that just means you're weak. You got to be strong. That way they don't steal from you. And I'm like, word, word, cool. So if I shoot you, you were weak, right?
Honestly,
If I
so
get
the
my boys and take your shit, you're weak, right?
like
If I
the
hit you
teachers
with my
could have handled it a
car,
lot.
if I run your
He could have
ass
handled it.
over. Sorry, you
Herbert,
got me tight.
it's okay. I
You got
know. I was tight too. The professor could have handled it better because he was just like, "Get out."
me.
Like this could have been a teachable moment. It would, like I would have went that route that Herbert went. It's like, okay, fine. What if I punch you in the face right now? Right? I punch you, I take you out, I call my friends, we beat you up, and we take your stuff. Are you weak? Tell me,
Like,
like you see, like, and it's the type of guy that like he seems confident in himself. He seems
yeah.
like he's a tough guy. You know, if we beat you up, you're weak, right? And I deserve your things now, right? Like all your things. But it could have been a teachable moment, but he was just like, "Get out."
But what got me is that like what got me even more tight. The kid is the kid's like as he told him to get out. The kid's like, "Yo, you're a liar," and I'm like, "He never said he wouldn't kick you out. He said we're listening. Not once did he say I'm not gonna kick you out of
No,
the class."
no promises were made.
Like that was on you. That was all you. And so I was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" So a kid got me tight, and then funny enough, later, much later in the movie, we see the kid again with the blonde. Well, we see him two more times. One time where he gets into a fight with this dude because the dude is like, because he's been talking to this kid's been talking to this blonde chick, and then a second guy comes up to the dude. He's like, "Yo, stop talking to her." Blah blah blah, trying to like tell him to step off. Black dude just knocks him the fuck out, starts beating on him, and it's like, quote unquote, showing the side of yeah, he's strong, so he gets what he wants, kind of thing. Then we see him later in the movie again for a third time, getting his ass, bro. I think he's dead. I honestly think he's dead.
Yeah, I think he's dead.
Like this group of of white dudes beat him up because he was a black dude who came into the club with his white girlfriend. They thought he shouldn't be with her. I'm guessing because
Probably.
because we weren't really told why they were picking up why they were doing that, but like they met him outside and whooped his ass. And when we see him, he's already like they put him up against the car where he's just like sitting on the ground up against the car and he's all
He was
blooded
already
up.
bloodied.
Like I don't even think he's conscious at that point. So and it's crazy. I'm like, yo.
Yeah, the girl that was with him starts calling out for the teachers, like, "Help us!" And then like, these are the teachers. I don't want to call them his friends,
Acquaintances.
acquaintances. He has partied with them because he's in a transitional period of his life, uh, or I guess transformative. Uh, but yeah, like so she calls out to him, and he's just like, "Yo, guys, stop!" And he's like, "No, no, no, it's okay. We're gonna fuck him up." And then he's like, and then they fuck him up, and he doesn't stop it. I'm like, damn, bro, like that's that's a lot. He's probably dead. I think he's
Honestly,
dead.
it's probably dead. And then like it's just wild, and it's a wild ride. It's so good, and then the end, I'm like, yo. So at the end, I want to point out there were a number of times where I had no faith in this man as to like what's happening in the final conflict, and I'm
Because
like,
all right, so the whole movie they kind of portray him as the meek type, the type of person that doesn't really fight for what's his, and he believes, from the lecture, he believes in the system. He's just like, what's mine is mine. Things will work themselves out. And the counterpoint to that argument was both the kid, like from the class, like his point of view, which lined up with his new acquaintance's point of view, which was like if you want something, you gotta go take it. You gotta be like all alpha about it and shit. So that's the whole. That's the way they paint him. And towards the end of the movie, he's like building this confidence or trying to. He's like, I'm gonna take my shit back. I'm gonna do what I need to do. But like, even his wife is like, at some point was like, you're just all talk, which I was like,
You ain't gonna do shit.
you ain't gonna do shit. I was just like, listen, you don't say that to a man that's on the edge because he's gonna do shit.
And you know what's funny?
So,
She said that
mm,
to him, right? He didn't do shit. He actually
he
didn't do
actually didn't do
shit.
shit. He didn't do shit.
Like,
I was like, damn.
and it's
He
funny,
even called her. He was like, "You're right. You're
bro. And that
right.
was
I
the
ain't gonna
best
do
part.
shit.
Is like, Len's like, you don't say that to the man on the edge. I'm like, he ain't gonna do shit, Lens, and he didn't do shit.
He didn't do shit."
And then we get to the final conflict, and then it's like, long story short, his acquaintances go to like fuck him up, like fuck up people in his house, right?
Yeah. So like they were promising like, hey, if you join us, right, we can go get your house back. And like obviously it's going to be through violent means because these are violent people. Towards the end, he was just like, "No, fuck you guys," because he's not about that life. They show up to the house anyway, and they bust through the gate, right, the metal gate with their car. They then take a whole bunch of gasoline, pour it on the lawn. They set the whole shit on fire. I'm like, oh man, this is getting wild.
It's savage.
It's savage. So the guy, what's his name again?
The man, the
Paul,
husband, or the one who was in the house?
the husband, who the house actually belongs to. His name is Paul. The
No,
guy, yeah,
no. Paul's the guy who's living in the house right now.
nah, that's Eric.
Is it? Oh, yeah, right,
Yeah,
right, 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 right,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah,
The
right.
guy the guy who's living in the house that he has now stolen. His name is Eric.
Yes, yes,
Eric
yes.
and Sabrina. Sabrina is the name of the nanny.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So Paul's like banging on the back door, saying like, "Eric, Sabrina, let me in. Like these people are like here for you." They're not letting him in. He goes to the front and he's telling them, "Listen, stop." And the guy, I forgot his name. The guy who's like all
Remember,
violent.
it's a Michael. Remember that? You got tight because they changed his name.
Oh, his
'Cause-
name's Miguel.
Yeah, because they wrote Mikael.
And I was like, but they said his name's Miguel. Like that, you don't have to translate the name Miguel. It's
Uh,
Miguel. Like, what are
sure,
you
you do,
doing?
Lens. He's a white guy. A white guy's not gonna have the name Miguel.
Oh, stupid. Anyway, so Miguel, the violent guy, he's all up
Like,
in Paul's face. He's just like, "What are you gonna do? I'm gonna take this house. I already took your wife. I'm gonna take this house." We also find out that Miguel slept with Paul's wife in the past.
way past. Like, we don't actually see it in the movie. It's like before her and Paul got married. So
Yeah, so he's like getting all up in his face. So he's like, "I took your wife. I'm gonna take your house." Paul still not doing shit. Eric comes out and pushes Paul out the way. He's like, "What? What are you gonna do?" And he's just like, "I'm
Eric
gonna
throws the
take your
first
house."
punch.
Yeah, Eric throws the first punch. Eric's like, he swings. He clocks him, but Miguel's still standing.
Miguel
And
looks at him
then
and goes, "I
Miguel's,
eat those."
I eat those. He swings a punch. Who is it? Eric goes down. He
Lays
goes
him
down
out.
hard. One
One
hit,
shot.
like one shot. O
Oko.
code.
It's over.
And then starts kicking him, beating him. I was like, oh no. Paul and Claire. That's the wife's name.
Yes, 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 yes. Claire.
It's all coming back to me now. They go inside the house with Sabrina. They close the door. We're like, all right. Paul picks up a machete. I was laying around. I was like, okay. I was like, okay, all right. You got a plan, Paul? What are you gonna do now? Goes back outside because the guys have like kind of dispersed and disappeared. Doesn't know where they are
No,
to check on Eric.
before he grabbed the machete, you forget. This is the part where I was like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing, guy?" And Lens was trying to tell me he had a plan because so before he grabs the machete, Eric is on the ground outside. Sabrina, who's the one living in the wife of the dude living in the house, is like trying to call the cops. Paul grabs her phone and smashes. Is like, "I'll handle this," and I'm like, "What do you mean? There's like 5 dudes."
I was like, okay. I'm the whole movie. I'm waiting for Paul to do some shit, right? I'm like, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the moment where Paul like does some shit. So he smashes the phone against the ground. He's like, I'll handle this. I'm like, all right, Paul, he got a plan. He wouldn't do that if he didn't have a plan.
What was the
Spoiler
plan,
alert.
Lens?
He does not have a plan. I thought he had a plan. I was like, he smashed it confidently. He's like, I got this. I was like, all right, you got it. He didn't have a plan.
He had no plan.
No plan. He goes
And
outside to check on Eric. Dude's above him, like on the awning, and throws a Molotov cocktail at him. I was like, no, Paul. What are you doing, you fool? Oh, he
and
goes
then they
back
bust in.
inside.
That's when
They
he grabs the
bust
machete.
in. Oh, yeah,
Th-
yeah, yeah.
that's when he grabs the machete, and then they bust in, going after him. You hear that the guys busting in upstairs to where Sabrina was, and start dragging her, I guess, downstairs or whatever. Mind you, this whole time Sabrina's pregnant, which is, I'm sure this whole experience is gonna be great for the baby. So then, what do you call it? They bust in, and then like Paul's like standing in front of his wife Claire as the guys are approaching. He's like waving the machete to keep them back or whatever. They're still pressing because like they know he ain't gonna do shit. They're trying to back up. They trip into the garage and land on their back covered in like plastic, and because they can't move right there, what did those group of guys do? Beat the ass. They
They
beat that
fucking
ass.
stomped him out. I think they hit him with a bat.
Yeah, both of
Yeah,
them hit him with a
yeah, they
bat.
got. Yeah, both Claire and Paul. Oh my god,
Claire
they got
was knocked the fuck
fucked up.
out. Claire was
Yeah,
knocked
she
the
was
fuck
knocked
out.
out.
I thought she was
I
dead.
thought she was dead.
Bro, I thought she was dead with the amount of blood that spurted out from that bat hit.
Word. I
I
was
thought
like,
she
oh
was,
no.
and I'm thinking, oh, his wife's dead. This is gonna be like Paul's gonna come absolutely ape shit, and this will be when he goes ape shit with no plan and just murders everybody in the house. No, he waits for. So these fuckers decide they're gonna put Eric and Sabrina into, I don't know what you call them, but they're the plastic bags you put clothes in and you vacuum seal them so that like to like help the clothes maintain the clothes. They put them in those bags and then like started sucking out the air to vacuum seal them. It
I was
was
like, damn, they're gonna vacuum pack these people. What? It's so savage. That is the most savage form of murder.
I don't want to go too much more into what happens because still to the end of the movie he still has no plan and he makes it up as he goes. Stuff
I mean,
works out
he gets the job done because he makes
barely,
a plan. He makes
barely.
a plan eventually.
I want to point out though, it only worked out because his wife had his back.
True.
That's the
Facts.
only reason. But how it ends and like the whole movie, I do recommend it. It's really good. As I know, not everyone enjoys foreign films because of like, oh, I have to read subtitles. Grow up.
Get over it. Experience new cultures.
Become a cultured person. Embrace other cultures. So
Honestly.
honestly, out of the two movies, I like the French one better. Like,
I do like the French one more.
don't get
It
me wrong,
was more engaging.
it was because like the Vietnamese one, I was mostly kind of just like chilling there, like, whatever, this is not bad. All right, cool. Meanwhile, with the French Fury, I was like, yo, I'm getting upset. I'm getting stressed out. I'm like, yo, oh my
I'm
god.
invested. I want to know how this works out. I want to know it gets psychological. It starts having you think. It gets into the mind of Paul. It gets into the mind of Claire. Uh, like the situation, how stressful it is. It's multifaceted.
It's
I think
wild.
that's why I enjoyed it more.
Yeah, it's just It's wild. It's just the whole concept of like, I let you stay in my house while I'm on vacation, and you come back and you take my house from me, bro.
Word. How dare you?
We squaring
How
up.
dare
We're
you?
squaring up. That's it. Put on them dukes.
For
Put
me,
up
the
them
movie would have
paws,
been done
Habib.
in the beginning because nope,
Hmm.
I am not letting that happen.
You know what I never understood though about the house, like the layout of the house.
Hmm.
We see the front gate, and it's like a concrete wall with the metal gate, right?
Yeah,
But then we see the rest of the other three sides of the house, like the fencing, and it's just a wooden picket fence. And I'm like, those picket fences even lower to the ground than the concrete wall at the front. So you could just
yeah.
hop over the wooden. So I'm just like,
That's. I mean, that's more for like it's decorative. Like the front of the house, the concrete with the gate. It's decorative.
I feel you, but it's like I'm one of those people that's like, if I'm gonna get myself like a concrete wall with a metal gate at the front of my house, I'm gonna go the full 9 yards, just do the whole house, like just do,
Yeah, just surround it.
cause
Like this
like
house will be secure.
yeah, cause I'm like, I don't know, maybe some people like it. I personally think it doesn't look great to have like a very nice front wall like that, and then just have a brown wooden picket fence that's like waist high around the rest of the house. I feel like that doesn't look good.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So like, commit. That's all I'm saying is commit.
Or at least have like those tall bushes all around because even those tall bushes do a better job than like a waist high picket fence.
Oh yeah, because like that we said picket fence, I can just full on hop over it, no problem. I'm in your property. What's up? Those bushes, that's work. Like I gotta squeeze and wiggle my way through. Like I have to be committed to get through those bushes.
Honestly,
So and if I don't know what's already in the house, I'm not gonna be committed to get through bushes. It's mad work. For all I
it
know,
is
that could
my
be
work.
poison ivy. You could be an asshole who put a bunch of bushes of poison ivy around your house.
Yo, there could be a beehive.
There could be
You
a
don't know.
beehive. There could
You
be a
don't know.
wasp nest. There could be a
Oh
wasp
my
nest.
goodness. I'm trying to break into your house. I get stung by a bunch of wasps. I die. That's perfect defense right there.
Perfect, and it's natural. And then what? They can't like their family can't take you to court because you didn't kill them. Wasps killed them. And what are they doing on
Word.
your property in the first place? Like the fuck? You know what I mean? It's baller. It's beast.
Yeah. If y'all want to check these movies out, they're both on Netflix. Uh, I personally recommend the French one. It's fire. If you're bored, you can watch the Vietnamese one. It's not bad. But yeah,
That's
that's all I gotta say about it.
that's pretty much all I gotta say. I mean, this gives me more time to play some more Gundam now that it's out. I already started this morning, so
Gonna head back into it.
probably for at least a little bit, and then and then we'll have our stream later. Which reminds me, I gotta ask my friend. I gotta ask my buddy. I gotta talk to my buddy about it. So, um, anyway, I think that's about it. I don't have anything else to say for the movie except that for the French film, I would rate it an 8.
Here we go. No, I know there's more. I know there's more. You jerk.
0.5.
A solid. I
0,
give it
0.
an 8.5. It's pretty good.
Mhm.
It kept me engaged. Had my emotions flaring up. Got me in the feels.
Like it was. Oh my god! And then I almost say is the way what how they quote unquote celebrate at the end of the movie that they're home that they actually can be in their own house now. My man deserved it. That's all I'm saying.
It's how I would have celebrated.
he he worked hard and he deserved it. That's all I'm saying. Oh man. Anyway, on that note, thanks for joining us and hearing us rant. As we stated, both movies are on Netflix. Check them out. Uh, you can check it. Don't forget to check out the Metropolis and other videos. Keep up to date with the whole series, the whole fam. You know how it is. Don't forget to miss our weekly streams of us gaming on Friday nights, 7 p.m. We change the game up everyone, pretty much every week, just so you guys don't get bored. Uh, and then you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Simon68_TKE, all one word, all lowercase.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at LensJ, LEHNSJ, uh, all one word.
His is a lot easier than mine. Mine's more pretentious. So that
It's
being
very
said,
telling.
no. Anyway, that being said, have a good one, y'all. We'll catch y'all later. Deuces.